Hello and welcome back. So in this video we're going to be finishing up the suspension mods to the 392, and what we did was we added a full set of Metalcloak control arms, which should improve our flex all the way around. And we also updated shocks, and for shocks we went with Fox's Performance Elite Series 2.5s. Now the 2.5s are a reservoir shock and they are fully adjustable, which I'm very much looking forward to, because that really helps us tune the Jeep to how we like it and how we're using it. So, and the 2.5s, man, they're really robust. They should be more than up to the task for anything we throw at it. So we got all this done, and we are also able to get the Jeep back up on the RTI ramp and take some measurements, and I'll share those with you and see how we did, if we were able to gain any more flex with the full set of Metalcloak control arms and the new longer shock. So let's jump in. I'm anxious to share this with you, show you what we found. Let's get started. To get us started, let's take a look at the parts we'll be using for this Stage 2 suspension build on the 392. Alright, the Metalcloak control arms are here, so let's get those unboxed and take a look. We chose to run the Metalcloak control arms for this reason. They're Duraflex joints. The Duraflex joints offer some of the best noise, vibration, and harshness dampening in the industry. They also offer some of the best flex characteristics you can find. Now let's take a look at the OEM parts we'll be taking out, as well as the new Metalcloak parts we'll be swapping in. Now that we've got the stock arms removed from the Jeep, let's get the new Metalcloak Adjustables bolted in. Now let's go look at the new Fox Performance Elite Series 2.5s we're putting on the build. The Elite Series 2.5s features dual compression adjustment as well as remote reservoirs. These new Performance Elite Series shocks should be able to handle anything we throw at them. I love how the reservoir in the 2.5s mounts up near the front bumper, making access to the dampening adjusters super easy. Here's a side-by-side look for comparison of the old shocks coming off the Jeep with the new 2.5s going on. We really like the shock tuning of the OEM shocks on the 392. However, we knew they were not going to be up to the 37s in the off-road environment. Now here's a look at the new 2.5s going on the Jeep. With the exception of having to drill a couple of small holes to hold the front reservoirs, this is really an easy plug-and-play swap. And here you can see the brackets to hold the front reservoir. And now onto the rear shocks. And here we are, all bolted in, finished up. And here's a chart you might find interesting. I know I did. These are the compressed and extended lengths for both shocks, OEM and the new Fox Performance 2.5s. Look at how much more compression and extension the new 2.5s have over the OEM shock. The shock travel page really tells a story. Look at the difference between the two shock setups. We're adding just over 4 inches more shock travel with the Fox Performance Series. This is where those adjustable control arms really come into play. On the alignment rack, we can get the axle centered, the pinion set, and the caster correct. All dialed in, making it all function just the way it should. We dialed in 5 degrees of caster on the front axle, so the steering is perfect. This is actually the 3rd time we've had the Jeep up on the RTI ramp to flex it. And each of those times I've been making notes and adjusting my bump stops. So I know I'm really close, and this should be my final look to make sure our clearances are correct. This is the rear axle passenger side. I have 1 inch of bump stop on the axle, and you can see we're fully compressed. And this is what the stuff looks like inside that fender. You can see we're clear all the way around the top half of the tire, and I'm running my 35 pounds PSI, which is normal for me on the street. Nice droop on the passenger front. And when we look inside, we can see that the spring is still nicely seated. All looks good here. Flexing it out like this lets me walk around and check each corner and verify my bump stops are correct. While on the ramp, I see I could squeeze out just a little bit more flex, but it's more important for me to have clearance all the way around. Alright, here's the first measurement after stage 1, but I've got to throw this measurement out because the bump stops were not correct, i.e. we were rubbing the fenders pretty hard. And here's the more accurate stage 1 measurement. This is with the bump stops adjusted to give us clearance on the fenders. After a few final tweaks to the hydraulic bump stops up front, I'm happy with this stuff. Now let's get a measurement for stage 2. Okay, now we get to see what the new Metalcloak control arms will provide in the way of flex versus the OEM units. You can see by comparing the two measurements, we actually traveled 11¼ inches further up the ramp with the new stage 2 upgrades. As we compare these RTI numbers, it's important to remember 2 things. 1, the OEM control arms don't flex very well, and 2, we were limited by the length of the stock shocks. The Duraflex joints on those Metalcloak control arms really do free up the suspension. Out here on the trail is where we really see the fruits of our labor with these suspension mods. It's great seeing the Jeep flexed out, and this helps me truly understand that my clearances are in fact right where I need them to be. When we got the Jeep to Moab, I headed straight out to Steelbender Trail. This is a great place for first test, and I'm really happy with the way the Jeep performed. We really hope you've enjoyed this video. Until next time, stay safe, and we'll see you on the trails.